Today's lesson is Okinawa in the off-season. Hi, everybody. I'm Roger.
And I'm Mike.
And today we're going to be talking about Okinawa, which is very close to Taiwan, so it should be very easy to get there. And, of course, lots of people go there to have a nice holiday or to have a nice vacation. But when do you think is the best time to go? Would you go in the summer or would you go in the winter? It seems logical to go during the summer because most people like to travel during the warm months of the year. But, hey, we're going to suggest actually going to Okinawa in the off-season.
Very interesting. So the off-season might also be called the low season when most tourists do not go there. So, of course, the weather might not be as perfect as it would be in the high season or when most tourists do want to go there, but the prices will be lower for everything and the crowds will be fewer. So that's a nice thing to do. So yeah, Okinawa in the off-season, it's a beach-type place, right? It's a resort-type destination, but if you go there in the winter, maybe you're not going to be swimming in the beautiful warm waters, but things will be cheaper and fewer people will be there. So let's check out Okinawa in the off-season, or another way of saying it, holidaying in Okinawa during the winter, in the first part of our article. Okinawa in the off-season. At first glance, visiting Okinawa in the winter might seem like a strange choice. After all, this southern prefecture of more than 150 islands is Japan's very own tropical paradise, and it is home to magnificent coastlines and white sand beaches. However, Okinawa is just as magical in the winter off-season as it is at the height of summer. You just need to know where to look.
大家好，第一部分介绍形容词 magnificent， 意思是壮丽的、宏伟的，也可以是极好的意思。例如 With its towering walls and detailed stone carvings, the historic castle was truly magnificent. 这座历史悠久的城堡以其高耸的城墙和精致的石雕而显得非常的宏伟。或者 From our hotel room, we have a magnificent view of the ocean. 从我们的饭店房间可以看到壮阔美丽的海景。下一个看到名词 coastline， 表示海岸线。例如 The island's western coastline is famous for its dramatic cliffs. 该岛屿的西部海岸线以其引人注目的悬崖闻名。也可以说 Robert spent hours walking along the beautiful coastline. Robert 花了几个小时沿着美丽的海岸线漫步。
Okay, so again, we're going to Okinawa in the off-season, which would be about now. It's November now and December's coming, so you might want to consider going there in the winter. And here it begins by saying, at first glance, visiting Okinawa in the winter might seem like a strange choice. So if someone were to suggest to you to go to Okinawa right now, you might think, wait a minute, that's kind of weird. Nobody travels during the winter. If you do travel during the winter, you might go to, say, the Philippines or Indonesia, some nice warm places like that, so you can hang out on a beach and get away from the cold winter weather in Taiwan. But why would you go to Okinawa? That's basically the same kind of weather as Taiwan. Yeah, it seems like a strange choice. I'm not sure I would want to go there in the winter either.
Absolutely. So at first glance, going there in the winter might seem strange when you first think about it. Glance, of course, is a quick look at something. If you take a glance at something, you have a quick look at it. But also we use this expression at first glance to not just mean looking at something, but also to just think about something quickly for the first time. That would be your first impression. That would be your first feeling from this. Later on, that could change, right? Later on, as you learn more or think more carefully, think more deeply, you could change your mind. But your first initial reaction when someone says, hey, we're going to Okinawa in November, and you might say, why? That's weird. It's cold there, right? At first glance, this seems strange. And here we have a few reasons why at first glance it might seem strange. After all, when you look into it, right, when you really think about it, this southern prefecture of more than 150 islands is Japan's very own tropical paradise, and it is home to magnificent coastlines and white sand beaches. Magnificent coastlines, white sand beaches, beach holidays, summertime. That's what we're thinking, of course, because that's what we associate associate with a place like Okinawa. It's the southernmost prefecture of Japan. Japan is broken up into smaller territories with their own local governments and, of course, their own local culture and food and holidays and towns and all that. We don't call them states. We don't call them counties. We don't call them provinces. We call them prefectures. It's kind of like saying today in Texas or in Oklahoma or something like that, such and such happened. So it's just a smaller subdivision of the country of Japan. So it's the southern prefecture, the one that is most south on a map. Okinawa is, and it's 150 islands. I didn't know so many were all part of this prefecture, this part of Japan. And yeah, it's a tropical paradise. You can go surfing and snorkeling and scuba diving and just get a tan and do all that during the summer when it's warm, right?
Yeah, that's because it's a tropical paradise.
Exactly.
So you want to go there during the summer when it's warm so you can go surfing or scuba diving or whatever. But again, it's a prefecture that's in the south of Japan, and it is also home to magnificent coastlines and white sand beaches. So something's magnificent, it's really great, it's majestic, it's fantastic, it's stupendous, and we've got coastlines, which basically refers to the part of the land that touches the ocean. It could be beaches, it could be cliffs, it could be mountains or whatever. So of course you got some great scenery with those magnificent coastlines. There's a magnificent coastline here in Taiwan. On the east coast, it's really beautiful. Lots of people want to go down there and check it out. And we've also got beaches that have white sand. And no, I don't like that black sand. I don't like that red sand. I like white sand beaches. It's the best.
Absolutely. Black sand beaches can definitely burn your feet on a hot summer day. However, Okinawa is just as magical in the winter off-season as it is at the height of summer. You just need to know where to look. All right, so we've addressed what most people will think, that at first glance, summer is the time to go to Okinawa. But the final sentence here in this first part says, but it's just as magical, it's just as wonderful or great in the winter off-season as it is at the height of summer. So the winter off-season is just as good as the summer high season, the popular time to go there. But here's the little warning or the little condition. You just need to know where to look. Yes, you will probably not be shivering on a white sand beach pretending it's warm and pretending you're going to go swimming in the cold ocean. You need to sort of adjust your plans, adjust what you want to do. And we're going to give you some advice, beginning with a sky full of stars in the second part of the article. So let's give it a listen. A sky full of stars. Even in summer, Okinawa is renowned for its spectacular stargazing opportunities. However, the much clearer nights of winter are the best time to catch a glimpse of the Milky Way. For the ideal experience, join one of the many stargazing tours offered on one of Okinawa's smaller islands, where the levels of light pollution are generally lower.
第二部分看到形容词 spectacular 表示壮观的或是令人惊叹的。例如 The fireworks display was a spectacular sight against the night sky. 在夜空的衬托下，这场烟火秀是一幕壮观的景象。或是 The new film is truly spectacular, winning cheers from audiences everywhere. 这部新电影着实令人惊叹，赢得了各地观众的喝彩。
Okay, let's talk about a sky full of stars. Okay, some people like stargazing. They like to look up and check out the constellations and the different stars. If you're lucky, you might see a shooting star or something like that. So you do want to see a sky full of stars in a place like Okinawa. Now, even in summer, Okinawa is renowned for its spectacular stargazing opportunities. Okay, so we've got some opportunities here for stargazing, and Okinawa is famous or is renowned for these spectacular stargazing opportunities. So if something's renowned, it is famous, it is known for that. And indeed, if you are a student of astronomy or if you are a fan of astronomy, then you might consider going to Okinawa because I guess they have some very dark skies there, and that's what you want. You don't want to have a lot of light pollution like you have in cities here in Taiwan. It's almost impossible to see stars in the city. I can see Jupiter sometimes, but but nothing else really. But if you're in Okinawa, or I guess here in Taiwan, if you're in Nantou or something, you can have some pretty good stargazing opportunities as well. But I guess the ones in Okinawa are spectacular. They're really cool to look at.
They're magnificent too, absolutely. Yeah, it's away from big cities. It's on an island in the middle of the ocean, not a lot of light pollution, which is what we call that light that comes from cities that makes it hard to see the skies and the stars at night. Not a lot of that, so a good place if you're into astronomy and stuff like that, or just like to take pictures of stars. However, the much clearer nights of winter are the best time to catch a glimpse of the Milky Way. Okay, I guess there's fewer clouds in the sky during the winter. It gets a little drier or something like that. So summertime will give you stargazing opportunities, but winter will make them even better because fewer clouds to get in the way. And so you can catch a glimpse of the Milky Way. A glimpse is a quick look. It's kind of like a glance. To glimpse at something is like to glance at something. A glimpse is basically a quick look or a brief moment where you can see something. We only had a glimpse of the moon because it was so cloudy last night. So you can get a quick look or a much better look, but still a quick look at the Milky Way. That's basically the spread of all the different stars through our solar system and through our galaxy. So again, a great place for stargazers, people who like astronomy, or a lot of people like to take sort of artistic pictures of the night sky. For the ideal experience, join one of the many stargazing tours offered on one of Okinawa's smaller islands, where the levels of light pollution are generally lower. So there are towns in Okinawa, of course, and that will create light pollution, this light that sort of obscures or makes it hard to see the stars at night. But they'll put you on a boat, drive you a couple kilometers away from the big cities, away from the main island of Okinawa, where there are fewer towns, less light pollution, and much better views of the stars. That sounds pretty exciting.
Yeah, you could try to do it on your own, but it's probably more fun to go with some other people, and they might offer you some telescopes or something like that and help you find the Pleiades cluster or whatever. So yes, join some of these stargazing tours on these smaller islands, and that's probably a lot of fun about Okinawa as well. You can take boats to all the other islands and have yourself a seafaring adventure as well. And again, you can enjoy the stargazing opportunities there, especially during the winter when the air is clearer, I believe, because of the lower temperatures. Okay, that brings us to the end of the second part. Let's move on now to the third part and talk about beating the mild chill. Let's find out what this is all about.
Beat the mild chill. While winter temperatures in Okinawa rarely drop below 15 degrees Celsius, Okinawa World is a great place to go if it gets a bit chilly outside. Of course, the theme park's reconstruction of a traditional Okinawan village is mostly outdoors, but the park's stunning cave system and museum of local poisonous snakes are both good options for some indoor sightseeing.
第三部分看到形容词 mild， 它的意思是轻微的、温和的或是和煦的。例如 I seem to have caught a cold, but fortunately it's a relatively mild one. 我好像感冒了，但幸好它相对轻微。也可以说 Though Randy is usually mild in manner, he still gets angry sometimes. 虽然 Randy 通常态度很温和，但他有时还是会生气。继续介绍名词 reconstruction，表示重现、再现或是重建、改造。可以说 The reconstruction of the crime scene helped solve the case. 重现犯罪现场有助于破案。又或者说 Reconstruction of the bridge took many years to complete. 这座桥的重建花了许多年才完成。接着看到 stunning 这个单字，它是形容词，意思是极漂亮的、绝妙的或是令人震惊的。例如 Hikers often went to the top of the mountain to gaze at the stunning view. 登山客常到山顶凝望着绝妙的景色。又或者说 Yolanda delivered a stunning performance that fascinated the audience. Yolanda 展示了惊人的演出，令观众着迷不已。后面介绍形容词 poisonous， 指的是有毒的或是引起中毒的，也可以是恶毒的意思。举例来说 Those bright red berries are poisonous and can make you sick. 那些鲜红色的莓果有毒，可能会让你生病。又或者说 Poisonous household chemicals should be kept away from small children. 有毒的家用化学品应该要放在小孩碰不到的地方。最后看到 sightseeing 这个单字，它是名词，表示观光或是游览。我们可以说 Cameron had a whole week of sightseeing in Los Angeles. Cameron 整个星期都在洛杉矶观光。也可以说 We booked a sightseeing tour of London for the morning. 我们预定了上午的伦敦城市游览。
Beat the mild chill. Notice the mild is in brackets there. So if we said beat the chill, that means we would be talking about not being affected by the cold weather, right? To beat the chill, put on a sweater, light a fire, drink some hot cocoa or something like that. Beat the chill. Don't be badly affected by the cold temperatures. But since it's Okinawa, we say beat the mild chill. It's not that cold. We're not talking about snow. We're not in Hokkaido. It's not going to be getting down to below 10 degrees or down to 0 or anything like that. So we're staying warm, but we don't really have to work that hard to stay warm because it's not that cold. As we learn in the first sentence of this section, while winter temperatures in Okinawa rarely drop below 15 degrees Celsius, Okinawa World is a great place to go if it gets a bit chilly outside. So that's a good kind of basic information to know about the climate and about what you could expect when you go there in the winter. The winter temperatures rarely, or not very often, it's very unusual for winter temperatures to go below 15 degrees Celsius. Kind of like Taiwan, doesn't usually go much below 15 degrees in the cities and the lower lying regions of Taiwan. Getting down to 11 or 10 is quite unusual. So cool, but not cold. But Okinawa World, this place, we know it's a special place with the capital letters there. It's a great place to go if it gets a bit chilly outside. If it's too cold to be walking along the coastline or stargazing or things like that, if you want to be a little bit indoors, go to Okinawa World. It's a great place if it gets a little cool, a little chilly outside. And what exactly is Okinawa World?
Well, it's a theme park, says here. Of course, the theme park's reconstruction of a traditional Okinawan village is mostly outdoors. But the park's stunning cave system and museum of local poisonous snakes are both good options for some indoor sightseeing. So first of all, this sentence tells us what Okinawa World is. It's a theme park, and it is a reconstruction of a traditional Okinawan village. Okay, so a theme park, of course, is usually an amusement park. Like here in Taiwan, we have Liufucun, which is a theme park. It's kind of based around the theme of an Arabian castle or something like that. And Disneyland, of course, is a theme park in California and in Tokyo as well. But this is a reconstruction of an Okinawan village, which is a traditional village, the kinds of villages they had in the past. And it's a reconstruction. It's not the real thing. They just made a replica or a copy of a traditional village, and you can go in there and see what an Okinawan village looked like in the past.
Very, very interesting. And there's other things to see there too. So, of course, walking around this reconstruction, this sort of rebuilt village would be very interesting, give you an idea of what life was like in Okinawa 100 years ago or even earlier. But it says the park's stunning cave system and museum of local poisonous snakes are both good options for some indoor sightseeing. So the village, of course, is outside. I'm sure you can go in some of the little homes and houses and stuff they have built there, but mostly you'll be walking around outside. But when it gets a little cool or windy, you can go into the stunning cave system that is also part of Okinawa World. If something is stunning, it's very impressive, right? You'll go there and you'll see things you've never seen before. You'll see things that make you go, wow, things that really kind of stop you in your tracks and make you appreciate something for its grandeur, for how impressive it is, for how amazing it is, for how unusual it is, or something like that. It won't leave you feeling bored and bland and like, whatever, it's nothing special. No, it's really interesting. It's really unusual. It will definitely be something you'll remember, this cave system. So that's pretty cool. And also, as long as you're comfortable with scary animals, you might also want to check out the Museum of Local Poisonous Snakes. And these are both good options. So a snake, of course, is a type of reptile. It slithers or slides along the ground. And as I'm sure everyone knows, they are poisonous snakes. We might also say say venomous snakes. But basically that means, of course, when they bite you, through their teeth, they will inject poison, some kind of harmful chemical. That's basically what a poison is, a chemical that is harmful to living things. Things that are poisonous to humans could also be poisonous to animals. And of course, things can be poisonous to plants as well, right? You can kill plants by putting certain chemicals on them. Sometimes we do that on purpose when we want to get rid of nasty things we don't like, but also in nature there are poisonous snakes, poisonous fish, spiders, and whatnot. You don't want them to bite you, but don't worry, these snakes, although being poisonous and dangerous, are going to be kept behind glass, and I'm sure it's basically like a zoo where you can learn about some of the local snakes, and these are both good options for some indoor sightseeing. So indoors, meaning not outside, we're inside a building, and sightseeing, just going around as a tourist does and looking at cool and unusual and new things that are part of that place that you're visiting. So if you're sightseeing, you could be looking at nature, you could be looking at culture, you could be looking at landscapes. You're just doing the things that tourists do to entertain themselves on holiday.
Yeah, I find Hainan here in Taiwan a good place for sightseeing. There are all sorts of things to see and do in good old Hainan. And of course, if you're in Okinawa, you can have some indoor sightseeing in this cave system and in this museum of poisonous snakes. They probably have other things to do indoors as well. And we're going to move on now to talk about the next thing, and that is to hear from Hanny.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第一部分最后一句提到 Okinawa is just as magical in the winter off-season as it is at the height of summer. 冲绳在冬天淡季就和夏天高峰期一样充满魔力。那这边有两个重点，首先要介绍句型 as 形容词 as 或者是 as 副词 as， 那么前面还可以加上 just 去表达说如同什么什么一样怎么样。那这是形容词或副词的原级比较，用来表示两个人事物的状态或性质相同。举例来说， Brad is just as good at directing as he is at acting. Brad 指导电影的能力就跟他演戏的能力一样好，两个都擅长。好，那补充一个相关句型是主词加动词as many 名词或者是 as much 名词再加 as 点点点，这时候可以表达和什么一样多的什么。举例来说 I wish I could have as much free time as she does， 那就可以表达真希望我有跟她一样多的空闲时间。好，再看到第二个重点是文中用到 at the height of summer 是表达在夏天的高峰时期，表达在旺季。那么 at the height of 加名词，这是表达在什么的巅峰全盛期。那么 height 在这边它是指顶峰极致的意思。我们补充一下，这个 at the height of 后面常常会接这种 career 或者是 fame 或者是 powers 等等，去表达处于事业啊、名声、权力等等的巅峰时期。好，举例来说 At the height of his career, he was diagnosed with cancer. 正值事业的巅峰，他被诊断出罹患癌症。好，那么看到课文第二部分，他提到，即便在夏天，冲绳也以壮观的观星机会而闻名。文中是用 be renowned for 点点点去表达以什么闻名。Renowned 就是形容著名的。那这边补充几个可以用来表达以什么闻名、以什么著称的用法，像我们可以用 be known for 或者是 be famous for, be noted for, be famed for, be celebrated for 等等。其中的 noted 还有 famed 还有 celebrated 它们都可以用来形容是著名的，意思就跟 famous 差不多。那在这些用法当中，介系词 for 的后面可以接名词或动名词。例如 The city is famed for its beautiful beaches， 那个城市以美丽的海滩而闻名。好，相反的我们可以用到 be infamous for 或者是 be notorious for 再加名词或动名词去表达因什么而声名狼藉、恶名昭彰。其中这个 infamous 它是在 famous 前面加上否定字首 in， 但是 infamous 不是用来表达不有名、默默无名，而是因为负面的事情而声名狼藉。 好，那我们分别用 infamous 还有 notorious 来造句。例如 The restaurant is infamous for its terrible service. 那间餐厅因为服务太差而风评不佳。He is notorious for being cruel to animals. 他因为对动物残忍而恶名昭彰。好，那么以上今天重点，我们回顾今天单字吧。
Magnificent. The top floor of the building offers a magnificent view of the entire city. Spectacular. Last night's fireworks display was really spectacular. Glimpse. Through the window, Doug got a glimpse of the garden in full bloom. Mild. Monique had a mild headache, but decided to go to work anyway. Reconstruction. Historians used ancient objects for a detailed reconstruction of the ancient battle. Poisonous. Some of the mushrooms in this forest are highly poisonous. Sightseeing. On his business trip, Ted tried to fit some time in for sightseeing. Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of our program, and please make sure you join us again next time. From all of us here, I am Mike.
I am Roger. See you next time.